everyone. Welcome back. It's the Fearless and Fabulous podcast. This is the space where women talk about how they thrive no matter their age or size. Everyone, it is season 3. I cannot believe it. I did not think this podcast would go on this long, but I've got so many women who just keep on wanting to tell their stories. I am Melanie Robinson, your host and creator, and I am so thrilled for my first guest of the season today. She is none other the woman I crowned Miss Voluptuous International last October. Meet Brittany, everybody. Say hi, Brittany.
Hi everyone, how are you?
I am so excited to have you on here. I have this kind of a full circle moment right now because when I won my title, I was Miss Voluptuous Gulf Coast, and I literally lived like 40 minutes from where you live now. So it is a little crazy to think how we both got this title and we didn't know who each other was at
Right.
all.
Well, that's what I was introduced to it and I'm like, "Oh no, that sounds like a scam." And then when I realized like an actual woman from my area went and competed and won, I was like, "Well, maybe I can do it. Maybe, let's see what this is about." And then that was it. I opened up the doors and ran with it.
Well, obviously, you ran with it so well, Queen. And can you give us a little introduction of you and a bit about what you do? And we'll just get into the nitty-gritty of what makes Brittany Brittany.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Brittany Gill. I'm your Miss Voluptuous International. Here at home on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, I am also a business owner. So I am an esthetician where I focus on skincare and making people feel beautiful from the inside out. So having this crown just helps amplify my true meaning and call like what I want to do for life.
That's so cool. And one of the things that really spoke to me, Brittany, because side note, I was one of her judges, and we'll talk about how I got the reputation of being the scary judge. But one of the things that really spoke to me is how she uses her own skills as an esthetician to help others who don't feel so pretty. So, can you tell us a bit about your project?
Okay, so with this platform, I was able to create the HealHer Project, and it's where I work hand in hand with survivors of domestic violence, survivors of human trafficking. I've reached out to a juvenile detention facility about an hour from me in Louisiana, and I go there and I host a class where I teach basic skincare. So I take my profession and the crown with me and I am speaking, I give a little bit of my testimony and I have developed words of affirmation for like each step. Like when you cleanse your face, you deserve to have a fresh new start. So for me, it's all about women learning to rebuild and learn their worth. And, that's the most important part of it all. And with this title, I am able to take that and help other women. And if I feel like if I can just save one woman and let
Mm.
them know their worth and how much they deserve to be here and their voice deserves to be heard, then I've done my part.
And I really love the fact that you are teaching them to love their skin. And when you can love your skin, it really helps to start loving who you are inside. Is that something that you have experienced yourself?
Oh, yes, for sure. So there's times where I'm not wearing makeup because most of the time I usually don't like to wear makeup very much. Being a skincare specialist, I like my skin to breathe and, I don't like to wear a lot of makeup. Um, but when you put on makeup, when your skin is nice and radiant, you literally feel like a million, you feel untouchable.
Yeah.
And I realized like, okay, when I do a full face of makeup and I walk in a room, I'm like, she's me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like,
Mhm.
it's the power of feeling it and believing it and loving yourself literally from the inside out. And I feel like, I mean, when you get dressed up and your hair is done, like, you're like, okay, I'm a bad bitch. Like, I could
Yeah,
do
right?
this, right? So you show up and you feel that confidence. And when, even if you're faking it, like I literally tell people all the time, like I'm faking it till I make it. Like this confidence, yes, I have it. Sometimes it seems a little bit more, but like if you don't believe it, then how are you going to convince somebody else to respect it, you know?
Absolutely. And I love the fact that you say we seem confident, but sometimes, we are shitting bricks inside,
A
right?
100%.
It's when I talk about being fearless and fabulous, like there are things that I do where I'm scared inside, but I feel like if I don't do it, how am I going to feel later?
Right.
And what kind of impact could I leave if I just try? So when you came up with your idea for your project, Heal Her, right? That's what it's called. Uh,
So it's actually healer, and
Healer, sorry.
The H is silent, but it's meant to represent I'm out there to heal women. So essentially the H is capitalized, but it's just to be known that it's for you, like for the woman, right?
Got it. Got it. Uh, so what was it that made you decide to start this
The
project of
plan.
yours?
Ah, so I wasn't sure where I was supposed to be, but I actually am a survivor of domestic violence. And so it's for mental health awareness and being a voice for survivors. With all that, it plays a part. So your mental health and how you were treated in a relationship leads you up to how you'll go into your next relationship, you know?
Hmm.
And I just realized that I wanted women to gain their worth and know their worth. And honestly, me going out to do the pageant was like, this is my chance to be a voice, right?
Yeah.
This is my chance to reach women and to be respected. And whenever I was first told about the pageant, I literally was like, no way, that's not for me. I'm not doing a pageant. And when I realized that I had a chance to have a voice, and literally, there was a lump in my throat when I realized I had to stand on stage in front of people and talk because I don't do that.
Mm,
I don't even do this. Like, this is even still hard for me. But I knew that my voice was meant to help women. I was supposed to show, like, hey, if I can do it, you could do it too.
I love
So
that.
that's
Yeah.
really why I did it. And like, if you would have talked to me a year ago, like even a year ago, I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. No way, no way. And then I was like, okay, like I said, I always knew I was supposed to help other women get out of a bad situation or help learn their self worth. And I do that in my profession. So this kind of gave me the key and the opportunity to be able to do what I'm doing.
That's so beautiful. It's I love how you walked through that fear just to for a stronger why. That
Yes,
your why was stronger than the fear that you had.
for
And
sure.
the fact that you've never done a pageant before, right?
Never. I had
Never
no
done a
idea what it
pageant.
consisted of. I'm still learning how to represent your beautiful title that you once had such big shoes to fill. Like I'm still learning as I go, but it's such a beautiful journey. And I would 100% do it all over again.
Yeah, it's for me, I started pageants super late. Like years ago, I did a local level pageant when I was 19. But then I met my first husband and life went lifing and I just kind of put that aside. And then when I was turning 50, I'd always been very nervous about, getting older. Like what did that look like? I did not have great messages growing up
Mhm.
about becoming an older woman. And I wanted to undo those messages. So that's what started me in pageants. And so, like you, I felt like I had a stronger why than any uh, reservations I had. I just knew I had to stand up for the younger woman who didn't think she belonged.
Exactly. Yes.
So, when you came to Miss Voluptuous, what was your expectations? Like, what was your own goal?
I I came in so blindly and I had no idea what I actually was going to do with this, okay? But I knew that if I stood up and said, "Hey, I could do this," then like maybe it would convince some lady to leave that abusive relationship. Like
Mm,
I'm doing something that I thought was like unreachable, okay?
yeah.
I thought there was no way possible I would ever break the fear of being able to walk on an international stage, mind you, compete. Like even when I talk about it today, I'm like, what? I really went to England to compete. Like, what do you mean? So like I feel like if I can show some woman that I did something that I felt was like completely off the chart and unbelievable, like, hey, you too can heal yourself enough to walk away from that abuse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, it's so crazy to think that like that's what my whole purpose is for, but it really is to convince other women of their self-worth. Like, and I am a
Yeah.
plus size woman, and you talked about having that, about being an older woman. So like mine is like being a plus size woman, right?
Yeah.
And I never felt like I deserved to be on a stage flaunting my body. Yes, I have always been confident, but with that also comes, you know, like I'm still insecure about my arms. You know what I mean? But like just
Mhm.
because I'm out there trying to be confident, that does not mean I still don't have insecurities, you
Oh,
know?
absolutely.
So like I came raw, I came real. I came with like, hey, I'm insecure about my arms, but like I'm showing up not just for me, but for every woman that's ever felt unseen, every woman that's ever felt undeserving, every woman that never felt like she was good enough to leave or become someone. Like I'm here for her.
Yes,
Sorry.
ma'am.
Start
Yes,
rambling and
ma'am.
just go off.
No, no, you're absolutely not. No, that is the passion that I heard during your interview. That's the authenticity I heard. And I love the fact that you are so real about you own where you are. You own, like, hey, I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing, but I'm willing to give it my best shot. And I absolutely adore that because
Thank you.
in the pageant space, there tends to be this facade that all these women have it all together and they look, thousand glam all the time. And that's not real life. That is not real life. Like, we have struggles, we have pimples, we have nights we don't sleep well, job issues. Like, that's real. And I love the fact that you are so willing to be honest about, what you are feeling and where you're at. And we touched on earlier about how you felt going into interview. You want to tell everybody about this infamous picture
Oh my
of
goodness.
before you went into interview? And someday you have to post it because it's amazing.
Yeah, so I right before interview, so interview process this year was a 20-minute process where we had 6 judges and we had 3 to 4 minutes with each judge. Okay. Like I thought it was only a 6-minute thing, and we got, told, hey, guess what? Now it's 20 minutes with 6 different people. So that brought on some anxiety. And then when we got in the room where we all had to sit, I realized United States was the last one to go out of 17 women. So that meant that I was going to be stuck in a room for over 2 hours, which I was, mind you.
Oh my
Um,
God.
and I kept hearing like, oh my God, Mel is the worst judge. Like she's the toughest one. And I'm like, Mel? No way. And they were like, yeah, she's so serious. And I'm like, not Mel. And they were like, yes. So I started panicking about you for sure because I'm like, oh my gosh. And I was already panicking. So, about 30 minutes into sitting, waiting to be interviewed, which was the most scariest part of this whole process for me, I feel, I realized, like, okay, I have to ground myself because I felt a panic attack coming along.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh my God, what does this look like? How do I ground myself? And I'm like literally shaking and like starting to panic, and I'm sweating. And I'm wearing white, mind you. I'm wearing a white top, white blazer. And I was like, I have to lay down. And they were like, Brittany, there's nowhere to lay down. I'm like, but the carpet's right there. And they're like, the carpet's kind of dirty. We all been walking on it. You're wearing white. And I'm like, if I don't lay on the ground willingly, I'm going to end up on the ground anyway.
Mm. Oh my
So
God.
I literally went and laid down, had my arms spread, and then I felt like my ankle was suffocating for whatever reason. So I had one shoe on, one shoe off, and I'm literally laying on the ground while other queens are like having their moment, preparing for interview. And I'm just like this on the ground, like breathing. They're like, Brittany, you look dead. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, and then the director, beautiful Natalie, walks in and she's like, I just want to know, like, why the one shoe? And I was like, it couldn't breathe.
I couldn't breathe.
So, you know what I mean? Like I could have like put it, I didn't care what anybody thought of me in that moment. I was just like,
Hmm.
I have to ground myself in order to move forward. And when I tell you I sat there and I was just breathing and like physically being grounded to the ground was like insanely something I didn't realize how great. I didn't ever done that in my life. Never.
Mm.
And I did it, and I heard my 3-year-old say, "All right, mama, take a deep breath in," because we practice breathing when she has, like, her moments. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "All right, I got this." And I pushed through, and I was like, "These are all real people. Like, I'm gonna go real. I'm gonna go raw. I can't fake an answer. I can't chat GPT what I have to answer with my raw. Like, that's what got me here, and that's what's gonna get me through this."
Absolutely.
Sorry, that was really
Absolutely.
a lot, but it was very.
So I saw this picture, everyone. She's absolutely being real about that. She's laid out on the floor, one shoe off, just totally
You can post it
splayed
if you want.
out. And I thought when I first saw that picture, I thought that's what happened after interview, which I totally would have understood. But the fact that you did it before you went in, I freaking loved that because that's something you never see that before interview. Just someone going, "Know what? I need to just get myself put together here."
And I did not care, and, like, thinking back now, I'm like, "Oh my god, you big dummy, laying on the ground," but you know what? I did what I had to do for me, and, I mean, it made me show up and deliver.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever works,
Yeah.
right? Whatever works.
You don't see that in pageantry, right? You don't see women just laying on the ground, like, so it was definitely a real raw moment.
Well, let me tell you a bit about my experiences with interviews. So, the first time I went to Miss Voluptuous, it was one panel at once. So, I
Mhm.
was Mississippi at the time, and each of the interviews were, I think, 4 minutes. And there was a large delegation that year. So I think I waited about 2 hours for my
Mm.
turn. And I was like midway in the pack. So,
Oh,
and so you walk into the room and there's the full panel. And then the queen who was outgoing that year, Amy, she was the mean judge that year because she barely looked at me. She just looked totally disinterested. But I kind of figured someone's going to be like that in there. I knew it. Like someone's got to be the Simon Cowell in there.
right.
And she was it. So I just like, all right, I see you. I know what you're doing, girl. But just that waiting and trying to keep your energy but not expel too much energy
Right.
is tough. And then in North Carolina, or when I got crowned, our interview was the round robin, but it was kind of like in this big ballroom space.
Yeah.
So you could see the different interviews going on. We'd go from table to
Oh,
table. And so I had to kind of like just shut everything out and not pay attention to what was going on with anybody else and just kind of focus in. And then again, Shonice, the queen who crowned me, she was the mean judge. So
so
she
it seems
was
to be a
tough.
pattern.
There is a pattern, yes. But, and I think I said this to you all as well, is that if you can't handle the queen asking you tough questions about why you should have the title, then you're not going to have a good year. So that's kind of the way we went about it. And clearly it worked for you.
I know, when I remember being done and I'm like, you're like, "Wait, I wasn't finished asking." I'm like, "Wait, you can't do anymore. It's over. My time's over." But like it was so important. I mean, you asked the questions that needed to be asked, and you have really big shoes to fill. So I was like, "Oh my gosh." And you're like, "What are you going to do if you have this title?" And I'm like, "You know what? I don't know how I got this far, but I figured it out and I'm going to figure it out if I ever win." So,
So speaking of, now that you got the title, what is the next thing for you this year? Like, what's something you want to achieve during the rest of your reign?
I want to be known for the HealHer Project to me is just so beautiful.
Hmm.
And I want to reach as many women as possible. That is my goal. Even aside from the pageant, once the pageant's over with, I want to continue the HealHer Project. I feel like it's so important to empower women and uplift them and give them their voice that they've been missing. So
Yeah.
I will continue to show up in domestic violence shelters and juvenile detention facilities and show up to, programs for people that have been human trafficked and continue to grow in those organizations trying to help women find their voice and regain that confidence and rebuild their life, because that is like that's I'm trying to figure out how to monetize this part of being such a good person, because that's where I want to spend so much of my energy.
Yeah.
So, that's what I see, growing these projects, being more involved with the community, being more involved with the certain centers that are around these women and try to help them back in life. So,
That's awesome. And I love the fact that for you, this is truly a passion project. It's not just a pageant platform, because I hate to say it, but sometimes you'll see pageant queens, they put together a platform and they sell it all through the time they're trying to get their crown. And as soon as the pageant's over, you never hear about it again. And that's not you. And I absolutely love that it is a part of your life. So, one of the things I always ask my guests is, what is one challenge that you faced and you feel you've come through the other side?
so it's the mental health aspect of it, and that's why I want to bring more awareness to it. Having the past trauma of the mental health that I've dealt with being younger, I had to battle that, and I still battle certain mental health issues because it's
Hmm.
not something that just disappears. So for me, it was not feeling confident to show up in rooms with other women, especially business owners, right? I've been owning my own business here in this town for 3 years. So I felt like I didn't deserve a seat at the table, that, showing up to 100 successful women and no, even though I was nominated, like I didn't deserve to be in the room.
Mm,
And so like, actually last January, I went to Gulf Coast Elevate Women in Business, and it helped change my life. It really did. But before I went, I was like sweating and so timid. And like, I felt like I didn't want to go in there because I didn't deserve to be around all these women, right? Other
yeah.
business owners. This year, I went into the conference. I was more confident. Confident. 7 of the women that were speakers knew me by first and last name. I had big people coming up to me wanting to take pictures with me. I walked around this room with confidence, and I didn't feel like I had to be small for anyone and sit in the corner. Like I was walking around, I was being the one talking to people. So it gave me my voice that has been hidden. It gave me the confidence to show up and say, hey, like I do deserve a seat at this table, and I will take up the space.
Absolutely. Preach. Preach, girl. Yeah, and I think, and even Michelle Obama said something that she felt a very similar way when she was starting off in her law career. And she said a lot of times when you go into those rooms, you realize you're a lot smarter than a lot of
Mhm.
those people are. They just been in the game longer.
Yeah.
And I think that's just the thing, is that we as women, we tend to uh, over criticize ourselves and think, oh no, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. But men do that all the time. They're like, okay, here I am. And they just plop on down and do their thing. And we
Mhm.
need to take more of that energy, realize that we are enough and we've got enough experience to make a difference.
Yes, for sure. And like I said, even if you don't believe it in that moment, you fake it until you make it.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, on the flip side, so since we talk about something that you had to conquer to get through, let's talk about what makes you feel fabulous. What's something that just makes you feel the most ultimate version of you?
Whenever I'm sitting there talking about my story and my testimony and, what's gotten me through life, and I hear things like, my daughter needs someone like you.
Mm,
Like I've had several people reach out to me and be like, my daughter needs someone like you in her life. Like, can you take that moment with her? Like, there needs to be more women like you. And I'm like, what? Or like people are like praising me, and I'm like, like me? And I'm like, I'm just being real and honest. But like hearing that my words and what I'm doing is shaping the future and changing lives, and realizing that, because I feel like, oh, just little old me doing little old this, but it's really not. So
yeah.
like that's very comforting to know that hearing those things back is definitely little rewards letting me know that I am doing what I need to do in life. So that makes me feel fabulous.
Yes, ma'am. Well, Brittany, I have absolutely loved talking to you. I am so proud of you. Like I am just sitting here beaming. And I'm so glad that you could be a guest and be my first one of 2026. And girl, we need to have a part two sometime. We really, really
Yes.
do. We
I
really
love
do.
that. Thank you so much because, like I said, you have some really big shoes to fill. Like you did
Oh,
so good. Hopefully I could, make you proud.
oh, you are a girl, believe me. And please follow Brittany. I will have her social media linked to this video and also to snippets on YouTube. Thank you again. And please like, subscribe, comment, share this with a friend. Let's get these wonderful women's voices sent around because women need to hear how it's possible to thrive no matter their age or size. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you all soon.